Namaste, Yalivdad. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining today. Uh, you know, there's people who are very well informed about the project will be speaking after me, but I just wanted to share some personal remarks up front because many of you are from the Ismaili community and they relate to some of what I have to say. For me, this is very personal because I was born here. I was born in Prince Ali Khan Hospital. I was raised in Aga Hall. I lived overseas for about 10 years and I'm back here now. And so this is very personal. It's also very personal because many of us who were affected by the COVID pandemic, valued the whole response of health facilities to us. And with us, Prince Ali Khan Hospital was a lifeline for the communities amongst which we live, for our families. I know my father, my mother, when my uncle, when they had COVID, we rushed to Prince Ali Khan Hospital. And so it gives me immense pride to introduce this project because every single rupee of surplus that comes from this development goes towards funding the new Prince Ali Khan Hospital. And so I'm delighted to be here today and talk about the project. Historically speaking, housing in India was organized very strangely, right? So initially it was all informal. It developed along community lines, and so what we now know as Bori Mullah, where the great ice creams are, or the Mehman Mullah, or the great tikkas are, they came up because, after independence, that's how housing evolved, right? Communities got together and created housing tracts, for themselves. And that's how some of the early Ismaili communities also settled around the whole Dongri area, the Rahim Castle and things of that nature. And as we started organizing ourselves, many of you may be familiar, the valiant efforts of Habib Tariani got Yuan apartments going. And then more recently, we had about 850 apartments built in Hyderabad. We've got projects going on in Mira Road in north of Mumbai. We've got Garden, we've got Green Park, we've got Delta, we've got Vasai, Virar, Palgar, all of that going on. This project in particular is very exciting because this was the home of the first Aga Khans when they moved from Persia to India, a couple of centuries ago. And so there is a historical nature to this site. It's also very important because, besides having the historic significance, the project, at that point encompassed a school, a hospital, and residential apartments that gave rental to meet the deficits of the community facilities. It's been decades since that, and now the buildings are dilapidated, and so there's a redevelopment taking place to revitalize Prince Ali Khan Hospital, have a brand new school, a community center, and then shining new apartment buildings, right? So one would house the current tenants, and one would then house the new residents who will come in and be our neighbors. So that's the backdrop of this project. In terms of real estate, I know it is not often said because it's impolite, but until about 20 years ago, most people were paranoid about investing in real estate in India. And there was a reason, right? Because typically somebody who had money bought a tract of land and then got let's say it could build 100 apartments. He would get friend of families and they would buy the first 10 apartments. And that's how the developer, got the permissions and got the architectural designs made. Then he or she would get 10 more friends and families to participate. And that's how you got money for construction. And along the way, if you got sick or you overplayed your hand, you ran out of money, the project got stuck. But all that changed with the RERA laws. There's now very serious governance that helps guide real estate development. The financing is from organized sources. And so there's a lot of changes that have taken place in the last 10 to 20 years in the real estate sector, particularly in metros like Mumbai. And in the last 3 months or 4 months post-COVID, or at least the second wave of COVID, the real estate segment in India is beginning to look up, as you may have already gathered from other media reports. And so it's a good time. It's a good team. There's good ambition. And since we've launched, we've gotten a couple of hundred inquiries already for the project. And I think we've sold, a dozen odd apartments already and more are in the pipeline. So it's an exciting time. I'm so grateful to the Council for the UK to have given us this opportunity to bring this project to you. Chairman Amin, thanks so much. We're going to work hard to build a surplus for your new hospital that can serve the community, inshallah, for the next century. And most importantly, I'm delighted to introduce our CEO, Vipin Mittal, who's joined us only 6 months ago, but he comes with a stellar background. He's got a bachelor's from the IIT in civil engineering. He has a master's in labor relations from XLRI, a premium institute in India. And then he's got a lot of experience building tall residential towers in Mumbai. which is great because that's exactly what we're trying to do. He's also a great personal friend, and we have a lot of faith in him. So Vipin, if you could say a few words before we get into the formal presentation, I would be really grateful. Vipin, can you come in?
Yeah, thank you, President Ashish, for the warm introduction. My team and me feel privileged to be presenting the Aga Hall Estate project to this August gathering today. In the last few months, we have had a few of such interactions with other regions, but I think this one is perhaps happening at the right time when we are almost a month into the construction activity post the groundbreaking which happened on 13th Feb. And it's a matter of time when you will see hectic construction activity with the site getting populated with tower cranes and other construction equipments. Well, having done a large number of projects in Mumbai, as you said, I can say that Aga Hall Estate project is really special in many ways, as you will see in the subsequent presentation. A very important point is that it's not just going to be built out of brick and mortar, but also out of sentiments and emotions of many of who have been involved in the development since a very long time. And the purpose of the project, of giving the surplus for the new hospital, that itself is very overpowering and motivating. As President mentioned, and some of you must be aware that in India, there is a regulatory body, Real Estate Regulatory Authority. It's called RERA, which protects the rights of the buyers for timely and quality delivery of the projects. While it's good to have RERA, but the fact that it's an AKDN project itself should be an assurance of quality and timely delivery. A lot of thought has been given to the design and specifications. Few of these will find mention in the presentation which follows, but much of it won't, as it's a part of the detailing. Designed around sustainability and nature, the design is ageless because nature itself is ageless. Our intent is to deliver a world-class product, and we are already in discussions with some of the largest and the best Indian and international contractors for the execution of the project. Of course, the ingredients of the project will be lifeless things like cement and steel, but the buildings have life and they talk. Now, what they talk about, well, I leave it to you to figure out while my colleague Somil takes you through the presentation. Over to you, Somil.
Thank you so much, Vipin, and thank you, President Saib, for the warm introduction. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to showcase a small video of the project of the new redevelopment. So good evening, everyone. I would like to begin the presentation by letting everyone know how the identity of the project was conceived. The identity of the project has been inspired from a blooming flower, and a blooming flower represents hope, love, beauty, friendship, and happiness, which are the true virtues of the development. This particular flower has 8 petals, and these 8 petals represents 8 AKDN ethical principles. The project, the site at the Aga Hall Estate was purchased by Aga Khan I and was established as a family residential domain where going down the line, Aga Khan II and Aga Khan III resided. The place has seen a lot of philanthropic activities since its early years, where Dr. Hafkin researched and developed a vaccine for the bubonic plague in 1898, to being a front runner in mitigating the current COVID-19 crisis through the Prince Ali Khan Hospital. It is indeed a special place, and today we are fortunate to see this new redevelopment happening at this very place. The project aims to build a premium high-quality gated community in the heart of South Mumbai. The new project will restore the historic aspect of the Aga Hall Estate. It will reaffirm the strong community life in a quality and a premium setting. The Aga Hall Estate is designed for multi-generational living, enhancing the quality of life of all its residents, the existing residents, as well as the new residents. All residents at Aga Hall will secure a freehold ownership of the new apartments, which is an important attribute in an Indian real estate context, as freehold title is a far more superior title. One of the key objectives of the development is that the surplus that will be generated through the sale of apartments that will be used to fund the new Prince Ali Khan Hospital that will be constructed across the site at from Aga Hall Estate. The project will also have a new international standard school that will be located within the estate. Giving a context on the site location, the project is situated in Masgaon in South Mumbai. At number 1 is the Aga Hall Estate site. 2 is the current location of the Diamond Jubilee School, also known as Phillips Plot, which will be the site of the new Prince Ali Khan Hospital. At number 4 is the Hasnabad Mausoleum, which is the resting place of Aga Khan I. South Mumbai, in particular, Masgaon and its vicinity will see many infrastructure development that will enhance the connectivity in and around the Aga Hall Estate. The Trans-Harbour Sea Link will connect South Mumbai to Navi Mumbai and will eventually connect to the Navi Mumbai International Airport. The Mumbai Metro Rail project will provide rail connectivity in addition to the central, western, and the harbour suburban railway lines. The residents at Aga Hall will enjoy a wide range of well-established corporate hubs, shopping and recreational spots, quality schools, clinics, hospitals, and education institutes of a higher quality. An important redevelopment that is currently being undertaken by the government, which is at a minute's distance away from the Aga Hall Estate, is the 966 hectares redevelopment of the Mumbai Port Trust. This project will completely transform the land on the eastern side of South Mumbai, which is inspired from well-established neighborhoods like Manhattan. This is the master plan of the Aga Hall Estate. The total area is spread over 21,000 square meters. At the heart of the master plan is the community center, which is surrounded by landscape gardens, which are inspired from Islamic architecture. These areas are designed to enable spiritual, cultural, educational, and recreational fulfillment to the residents. Towards the west of the community center is the forecourt garden. This will situate an 140-year-old heritage fountain from Aga Khan's bungalow at Aga Hall. The flow of refreshing water from this fountain towards the Charbagh will remind us of the abundance of the divine blessing. At the north of the layout are the 2 residential towers. The 45-storied West Tower will accommodate the existing residents of Aga Hall. The 54-storied East Tower will have apartments for sale. Underneath these 2 towers, we'll have a podium which will have a double-heighted entrance lobby, followed by a 5-storied podium car parking. Above the podium levels, you'll have a club flow facility that will be common to both the towers. and you will have another dedicated club floor, which will be at the first habitable floor of the east tower. So the first habitable floor is actually at the 10th floor height from the ground floor level. The new school will be situated on the eastern side of the master plan. This is the three-dimensional perspective of the master plan, where you can see beautiful landscape gardens. More than 50% of the area at Aga Hall has been designed for landscape gardens and as open spaces. This is the south elevation of the two towers. The towers on the west is the 45-story tower, which will accommodate the existing residents. The east tower is a 54-story tower that will have new apartments for sale. There are overall 373 apartments for sale at the Aga Hall Estate. These apartments offer a perfect combination of contemporary architecture and features to provide luxurious living in a spacious environment. A typical floor at Aga Hall has 7 apartments, of which 6 are 2-bedroom residences and 1 is a 3-bedroom residences. The 2-bedroom residences have an area of 660 square feet, which is the 2-bedroom Supermax residence. The 2 typologies of 2-bedroom grand residence have an area of 841 square feet and 866 square feet. The 2-bedroom luxury residence has an area of 960 square feet and that comes with a balcony as well. The only 3-bedroom luxury residence has an area of 1404 square feet that also has a balcony and servant room and servant's toilet. This is the layout of the 2-bedroom grand residence, the first typology of the 2-bedroom grand residence. There are 2 of such units located on the north and south of the development. The unit in the north faces Rani Bagh and the Worli skyline from each of its rooms. The unit on the south faces the Jamaat Khana and the gardens on the lower floors and the South Mumbai sea view from the upper floors. This is the view from apartment 1, which is 841 square feet from higher floors facing the beautiful South Mumbai skyline and the sea views. That's the view of Rani Bagh and the Worli skyline from apartment number 2. This is the second typology of 2-bedroom grand residence with an area of 866 square feet. Buyers will have views of the Jamaat Khana and the gardens from the lower floors from this apartment, and from the higher floors they'll be able to see the southeastern sea view of Mumbai. Buyer will also have an opportunity to see the beautiful sunrise to the eastern coast of Mumbai from the window in the master bedroom. That's the southeastern sea view, or for many of you who are aware with Mumbai, this is the Kolaba side of South Mumbai. From the master bedroom, you will be able to see the docks, also known as Masgaon docks, or the eastern seafront from your master bedroom. Next is the 2-bedroom luxury residence, which has an area of 960 square feet with a balcony. There are 2 of such residences in the typical floor plate. These residences will have view of the beautiful Rani Bagh garden, which is a 54-acre botanical garden in the heart of South Mumbai. The 3-bedroom luxury residence faces the south. It has a balcony also servant's room and servant's toilet as part of the layout. Buyers will have choice of views that includes Jamaat Khana and the garden on the lower floors and the South Mumbai sea views from the upper floors. This is the view that buyers will have from this apartment from upper floors. That's a 2-bedroom Supermax residence with an area of 660 square feet. Buyers will have a view of the north and the Rani Bagh and also the Hasnabad gardens from the lower floors of this residence. That's the view that buyers will have from each of the rooms of this apartment. Apartments at Aga Hall come with lovely standard finishes which are of a superior quality in their own regard, with an option for a premium upgrade and also an option for a ready to move in upgrade that will include interiors and furnishings as well. Each apartment would have a modular kitchen. The bedrooms and living rooms would have air conditioning units installed. Special care and attention has been provided in the design for the seniors in both the apartments as well as the common areas at Aga Hall. This is a typical 3-bedroom, the living and dining space of a 3-bedroom apartment that has been rendered to the scale. That's a bedroom of a 2-bedroom apartment that has been rendered to the scale. The project will have a contemporary clubhouse for its residents that will include amenities for fitness, recreation, as well as well-being. These amenities and recreational areas ensure that there is delight, luxury, and comfort at every square feet at Aga Hall. Some of the amenities include serviced apartments. If any buyer wishes to rent out apartments for their guests for any functions, they are free to do so. There will be a concierge service through which buyers would be able to rent out their apartments or resale their apartments post the possession. Some of the outdoor amenities include swimming pool and a kids pool, landscape gardens, viewing decks, as well as sky decks. That's the render of the double-heighted lobby at the ground floor. The seniors lounge, the children's playroom, the yoga and Pilates room, billiards room, a multifunction banquet space, gymnasium, open swimming pool, and this beautiful sky deck, which is at 51st floor or at 61st level from the ground floor, that offers breathtaking views of the South Mumbai skyline and the Arabian Sea. Gardens have always been an integral part of the network projects, and Aga Hall is one such example. About half of the project's footprint has been reserved for open spaces, with seating for seniors, places for children to play, quiet contemplation, as well as community interaction and social gatherings. The garden that you see in front of you is the grand entrance driveway, which has a replica of the heritage gate being designed as part of the redevelopment. The purpose of which is to create a recall of a memory of a beautiful architecture that is often lost during our daily routines. This is the stepped Charbagh garden that has been inspired from Nishad Bagh of Kashmir. That's the view of the grand entrance driveway from the Charbagh. That's the garden of Threshold, where you will see multiple entry points to various locations at Aga Hall. This is the Garden of Solace, which is situated on the ground floor of the residential towers. That's the Orchard Garden. The Maidan, or the open play area, open playground. Open children's play areas. The community center. And the beautiful 140-year-old heritage fountain that has been relocated in the forecourt garden, which is part of the community center. This is an evening view of the Aga Hall, the lightings of which has been designed by Lighting Design Partnership, one of the premier lighting design firms across the world based out in Australia. As Vipin mentioned earlier, the project has been registered in Real Estate Regulatory Authority that ensures good governance, quality, and timely delivery and proper regulated fund management of all the investors in the project. This is a very good attribute for the project because it gives the buyers that confidence, and it has brought that professionalism in the Indian real estate market that has been very much beneficial to both the buyers as well as the developer. Sustainability is very synonymous to AKDN. The project has received EDGE certifications from the World Bank Group. Every single apartment, both in the West and the East Tower, has received the certification that provides tangible savings of energy, water, and the energy embodied materials that were used at Aga Hall. The project is also IGBC Platinum Green Building certified building. This is the highest green building certification that is available in the Indian context. These are the consultants which have worked day and night very hard to bring this project to life. The project is being managed by the Aga Khan Agency for Habitat, and the Prince Ali Khan Hospital Trust is the owner of the land. Coming to the investment opportunities at the launch, there are three distinct investment opportunities at the launch which buyers can participate. The first being the construction link. They can invest into the project through a construction link payment plan, wherein 7.5% of all inclusive price or 10% of sales consideration amount has to be paid at the time of booking and the balance at the time of possession. Buyers can invest one or more apartments while availing this scheme. Second is the bulk upfront scheme, wherein 90% of the all-inclusive price or 95% of the sales consideration amount has to be paid at the time of booking and the balance at the time of possession. In order to avail this scheme, the minimum area that needs to be purchased is 3,300 square feet. This can be made through a combination of apartments of your choice. The third being the single upfront scheme, wherein it's similar to the payment plan stays similar to the bulk upfront. The only difference being buyer can purchase one apartment of their choice. Further elaborating on these payment plans, the payment plan on the left is the 18 installment construction link payment plan. The first installment is at 10%. Post payment of the 10%, your agreement will get registered after paying the relevant stamp duty by the government. The current stamp duty charges is at 5%, and it will increase to 6% based on a government circular from 1st of April. After registration of the agreement, the subsequent payment of 20% has to be made within 30 days of the registration of agreement. And then as the construction progresses, the payment has to be made till the completion of the project. Currently, it is envisaged that the project will be completed in 6.5 years. We have a date which is mentioned in RERA that has necessary buffers, but as per the current planning, we envisage to complete the project in around 6.5 years. The second is the single upfront payment plan, which is on the top right-hand side corner. There are three installments in this payment. First being the booking at 10%. Second being immediately after the registration of the agreement, which is at 85%. And third is at the time of handover and possession, which is 5%. Third being the bulk upfront payment plan. Again, the payment stages stays the same. Only difference is the pricing. Now you see this difference in the pricing, that is primarily because the interest that is saved while paying upfront is passed on as a discount through the base price. The current discounted base price for construction link plan is 41,000, which is the price of the unit at the first habitable floor. There is a floor rise component which is 165 rupees per square feet per floor that gets added as you progress upwards on higher floors. The NRI payment plan is similar to the construction link payment plan. It is only made for convenience for our NRI buyers. Instead of 18 installment, they can avail with the same price at 6 installments. So it's like 18 installment over a period of 6.5 years versus 6 installment over a period of 6.5 years. The price at Aga Hall Estate is quoted as all-inclusive price. All-inclusive price includes 12 components. The first being the sales consideration amount. That includes the base price, the floor rise, the parking, which is also included in the sales consideration amount, amenity floor charges, infrastructure development, share application amount, legal charges, society formation, electrical and water connection charges. These form the other charges of the project. This is followed by the maintenance advance for 24 months. So from the date of possession till the next 2 years, the maintenance is included in the all-inclusive price. Number 10 is the registration charges, which is a government levy. Number 11 is stamp duty, which is again a government levy. Currently, the stamp duty charges are at 5%. This will be increased to 6% from 1st of April. The goods and service tax or GST is levied on the sales consideration amount currently at 5% and on other charges at 18%, which is also included in the all-inclusive pricing. These are the pricing of each of the inventory at 8th floor. Again, I would like to specify that these are the launch pricing. And as we move forward, you will see changes in this pricing. So a a smaller two-bedroom unit, two-bedroom supermax residence, which is 660 square feet, will cost 330,000, roughly around 330,000 pounds. The same inventory, the same apartment, if it is purchased through an upfront payment, it will cost around 292,760 pounds. Similarly, a 3-bedroom luxury apartment will cost around 715,000 pounds. And the same apartment through a construction link, through a single upfront payment plan will cost 632,324 pounds. Again, I would like to specify these are all-inclusive prices. We saw all the 12 components in the earlier slide, which are included in this pricing. The project has also tie-ups with some leading banks and financial institutions in India, which offers home loans facilities to those require. The promoter, these facilities would only be availed on the request of the buyer, and the institution or the promoter shall not be liable or accountable for any advices or services. The risk while availing these facilities shall be solely of the buyer. But for the ease and convenience, we have made necessary tie-ups with these financial institutions so that these facilities are available from our offices itself. Some special assistance are currently being made to the international buyers, wherein we have third parties who we have engaged to provide necessary support for OCI card, PAN card, to open an NRE bank account, to execute the agreement for sale and the corresponding power of attorney, which if required. So these are all the pre-sales assistance that is currently being provided through third party. We would be facilitating this assistance and would not be owning it, in a sense that all the risk lies with the buyer and the third parties and not with the promoter. Post handover, if required, we would be providing rental assistance to investors, resale or transfer arrangements of apartments. Interior fit out assistance of apartments would also be provided if required. All these things come at an added cost, which is directly to be paid to the third parties. And we would be arranging discussions with those with all the respective consultants at the request of the buyers. This is the current status of the project. We were happy to inform that a groundbreaking ceremony took place on 13th February 2022 in the presence of senior leaders of the AKDN. This is the current status at the project, where you can see the excavation activities at full swing. There are 3 basements in the project, and that will require some very aggressive excavation over the next couple of months for the project. This is the project team who has worked night and day to bring this project, this vision to reality. And we assure you that we will give our best to deliver this project as desired or as envisioned. This is a very, very unique and an important project for AKDN. And today, for this premium housing complex that will immensely enhance the quality of life of its residents and will also financially contribute to the new Prince Ali Khan Hospital, we look forward towards welcoming you to become part of this history in the making. At this onset, I would like to thank the National Council of United Kingdom, the EPB for UK, for allowing us to present this project to the Jamaat, as well as to our friends who have joined us today. If anyone has any queries, should they require any assistance or quotation of specific apartments on specific floors, should they require virtual presentations or in-person private presentations, they can email to us at info.aher@pakh.net. They can also call us or WhatsApp us at +91 99 877 80140. All the project information is available at our website www.agahallestate.com. I would be opening the house for question and answers, where me and my colleagues would be able to answer the questions. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Somo, for the very comprehensive presentation. I think we all really appreciate your rigor in the overview. As a reminder for everyone, if you have any questions, can you please start submitting those through the chat facility, if you can send those to everyone. And as we wait maybe for a few more questions to come in, perhaps I could first ask Chairman Amin Manekia to speak about the development plans for the Prince Ali Khan Hospital, and President Ashish afterwards to comment on the plans for the school, because this is a really unique project as far as I see, because it's not only the residential, but it really is building a full community to help the quality of life everyone around. So Chairman Amin, if you could perhaps speak.
Thank you, everyone. As most of you have some association with the hospital, because it's been around for now 77 years, it's widely known as a top-class multi-specialty hospital. Very well known for treatment in oncology, neurology, cardiology. The quality of clinical care has always been appreciated by all. And in the COVID crisis, even the state government and the local municipality has recognized us as one of the finest providers of COVID healthcare to the general population. What's unique about this hospital is that we cater not only to hundreds of thousands of patients a year, but a huge percentage of these are economically weaker section families, and we provide subsidized care, free care to them. But the facility is now aging, as I mentioned, it's over 75 years old. The infrastructure is a little creaky. So if you want to keep up with the latest technology, if you want to keep up with the latest medical protocols, we need to invest more into newer facilities, into newer technologies. Current facility just will not do for the coming years. And this Aga Hall Estate has given us a really unique opportunity in the sense that not only are we providing the residents with high quality apartments and quality of life, but the profits of this entire project will go towards partially funding a brand new hospital which will come across the road from the current site, where the existing hospital currently stands. That hospital will be demolished eventually, and a brand new school will come. So this project will actually provide the residents with a great healthcare facility, probably one of the finest in the city, if not in the country, and a great school to send the children to. So I'm sure you'll be very excited to be part of this project, and we look forward to welcoming you here.
No, I think there's a lot of questions coming. I'll spend no more than a minute on the school. Look, we always had a hospital and we always had a school. So believe it or not, we had an old state board curriculum school in the Aga Hall complex that was there for decades. And then we moved on to improve that. And so we went across the street and bought the first Phillips plot and made that into a national curriculum school. And it's still there. It exists, and it's rated as one of the best schools in Mumbai today. And inshallah, we will, when the Aga Hall Estate is ready, we will now move to back the school back into the estate adjacency. Schools and residents make good neighbors, hospitals and residents perhaps don't. That will be an international baccalaureate school. So the Aga Khan school that comes back in will most likely be an international baccalaureate school. So what will happen is the new hospital comes up first, then the new school gets built, and that's when we demolish the school. So we're good at making schools and breaking schools. But there's a lot of questions. Vipin, probably you can take those questions.
Yeah.
I'll take one. I know Salma has asked that, can I donate to the hospital if I'm not buying an apartment? Salma, absolutely yes. We will be starting a formal fundraising drive for the hospital shortly. So one way to contribute to the hospital is to buy an apartment. But if you'd like to contribute to the hospital directly to the new hospital, we'll come back to you with a more structured appeal in a few months from now. But thanks for that question. Vipin, there's a lot of other questions. Perhaps you want to take them on directly?
There are questions on when is the project likely to be completed. So as Saumil said, 6.5 years from now, that's around mid of 2028. The RERA completion date, of course, is mid of 2029. And as mentioned right at the beginning, we are in discussions with the best contractors in India and who have international experience also. We are discussing with them to ensure that the construction happens as per our quality and as per our timelines. I have a bungalow in Pune and Kharadi. Is there a facility for part exchange? Well, I'm afraid there is no such facility available. But still, if you need help, maybe informally you can approach Saumil if he can, for your disposing of your land in Pune. But there is no, officially, there is no such facility available. What will be the ongoing maintenance charge after 24 months? We expect it will be around 20 rupees per square feet plus the property tax. Property tax is something which right now in the area it's around 8 rupees a square feet, but this is something which is subject to change, and this is something which government keeps changing every year. Are these
you may want to mention, you may want to highlight that we are a freehold, right? So the property charges will be much lower and it's a much clearer title. So you may want to talk about that a little bit.
Correct. So as Saumil also covered in his presentation, this is a freehold land where we have actually paid upfront to the collector's office. Otherwise, the general practice in Bombay is that most of the land parcels are leasehold. They have collector's lease. And as a result of which, every time you sell your apartment, you have to go to the collector to seek permission and all. It involves not only it's a long drawn process, but it also involves a lot of cost. Are these slides going to be shared? Yes, I think the council will share these slides. So these are going to be available to you. Can one just donate small? Okay. Can you share it? Can you share information about renting the units once purchased? Thank you. Saumil, you want to answer that question?
Yes, so you can contact the rental desk should you wish to rent out the units once you have purchased the apartments. So there will be this facility which is set up post the hand possession, wherein apartments can be rented out once the possession is received.
Can you comment on the eligibility requirements for purchasers, OCI, NRI, etc.? Saumil, I think you should take that question.
Yeah. So number one, buyers who are Indian nationals, who are NRIs, who are OCIs can purchase the apartments at Aga Hall. So this is not just limited to Aga Hall, it is with regards to any real estate investment in India. These are the primary requirements should you wish to invest into any property in India. OCI is Overseas Citizen of India. That can be, it's a card that can be availed by submitting your relevant documents to the Indian Embassy in your region. And if you have any specific queries with regards to that, you can definitely call us or write to us and we will guide with the process.
Okay. 6 years approximately, is that a realistic time frame or will it take longer? No, I think 6 years is a very realistic time frame for completion of the project. Is this the first project for AKDN in which a high-rise building of apartments is being built? President, you would like to answer that question?
Well, it depends on how you define project and high-rise, right? So we've been building apartments for many, many years, right? Our last project was in Hyderabad. Again, you know, eco-friendly, whatever it was, 849 apartments that we built and sold. We've been building apartments, you know, for many, many decades. Most of them are greenfield projects where we acquire a piece of land and we construct apartments and then we sell it. This is brownfield, and this is slightly taller than the normal buildings we're used to. We normally do 5 stories, 8 stories. We've typically not gone above that. And so, yeah, this is the first time we're building such a tall building. And that's why we've got Vipin to watch our back. But, you know, I mean, you know, on our steering committee, we've got people who are part of the Aga Khan Award for architecture. We've got people who won awards for construction. So, you know, so we've got our backs covered with both management and governance. So I think we feel comfortable doing this thing ourselves.
Would you be able to get a mortgage, or it needs paying by 6.5 years? So as Saumil, I think explain. Saumil, would you like to take that?
Sure. So it's your choice. You know how to fund the your purchase. You can either use your savings, or you can opt for a mortgage. It's your based on your risk appetite, and it's ultimately your choice. You can do both. Mortgage as well as you can self-fund your investment.
Is this project only specific to Smiley individuals, or a mixed community is anticipated at the Aga Hall Estate? So this is intended to be cosmopolitan and not intended to be only restricted to Smiley individuals. But yeah, the way it's turning out, we might end up having a predominantly Smiley society. Is it possible to procure home loans from Indian banks for Indian nationals living in UK? Saumil, is it possible to procure home loans from Indian banks for Indian nationals living in UK? You've done a lot of study in this.
Yes. So, you know, banks have their offices in UK as well. And it's very much possible for you to avail loans from Indian banks in UK. Further to the loans, to the mortgage, whereas the project is 6 to 6.5, I mean, it's a 6.5 year project. The home loans are availed for 15 to 20 years, and depending on the maturity that the buyer wishes to have and their eligibility. So the home loan repayment period is longer than the construction period.
How many apartments are available for sale? So total of 373 apartments which are available for sale. Combination of 2 BHKs and 3 BHKs, as Saumil explained. Every floor has 7 apartments, 6 of them are 2 BHKs and 1 apartment is a 3 BHK, and total 373 apartments.
There's some 4-bedroom penthouses too, right, Vipin? There's some 4-bedroom penthouses.
There are penthouses. There are penthouses as well. Can a Canadian buy this property? So yes, if you are an OCI or an NRI, you can buy this property. So, but that's the prerequisite, being an OCI or an NRI. When does can you ask Saumil to say what the normal maturity of mortgages are? Example, 20 years. Saumil, yes. Normal age of
normally it's around 20 years. Again, it depends on the repayment capacity of the buyer. If the equated monthly installment is within the capacity, it can be reduced to 15 years. It is 20 years as well.
So when does the first phase of sales end? When will the next phase begin? So, the prices which Saumil projected, they are introductory prices and likely to change after 31st March. Saumil has already informed you that there is already a increase in the stamp duty. So that's when the phase 1 of the sales would end, 31st March, in terms of pricing. And anything we want to add, Saumil, on this?
So there are 2 components to it. One is as far as the all-inclusive price is concerned, they are governed by the base price and the government levies. The government levy will change by 1% as far as stamp duty is concerned from 1st of April. Yes, the prices will change from 1st of April, and the base price will change as we move forward. That will be a decision that will be communicated as we move forward.
So there is no phasing of sales. It's only the pricing which might change, undergo a change, but there is no phasing of sales which is planned. I mean, a break in the sales and then we restart. That's not what is envisaged at the moment. What taxes are payable if the property is disposed after purchase? Samil?
Yeah, once you purchase the property, number one, you'll have to, you can only resell it once the possession is declared. And once the possession is declared, all the amount, you have a stamp duty that is paid on the resale as well. The stamp duty is typically shared between the buyer and the reseller. So the current stamp duty is around 5%, and this will change to 6% as we go forward. And this is completely depending on the government regulatory norms. But this is something that has to be paid once you resell your property.
I think if you want to add a quick comment, perhaps Amin could also add to it. There's also an income tax implication, right? So if you purchase it at a certain price and then now you sell it after a few years, the long-term capital gains that is realized, and you pay some income tax on
10%. Is there any chance to have a booklet containing all information mentioned, brochure? Where do we get a copy? So I think it's available on the website as well. Samal, you want to add to that?
So you can, the brochure and the details are available on the website, including the FAQs. You can also email to us should you wish any specific detail, any specific quotation for any unit that you are interested in.
Are the prices representative of the current market prices for properties in Mumbai? So well as President Ashish mentioned, where at the beginning, the market in Mumbai is looking up, and actually it's a very competitive price. Given the nature of the project, with the hospital in the vicinity, with an international school, with an AKDN project and a freehold title. So all this add a lot of value to this project. It is a project which cannot be compared to the other projects in the market. And I can easily say that the prices is very, very competitive. The website addresses, okay, somebody's fine. I think that's the, unless any other questions.
Well, I think if you have any more questions, I think the team has made it very clear they're very welcoming. Actually, we've just had another one come in. Is there a restriction to whom you can sell to over time?
No restrictions. There won't be any restrictions.
Okay. Well, thank you so much to everyone involved with the Aga Hall Estate project. Okay. I think I'm going to be quiet because the questions just keep coming in. So just pause for a second.
If you sell, can you repatriate the funds to Europe?
Yeah. So the funds, all international funds coming into the country should come through an NRE NRO account. So if you want to purchase an apartment, you need to have an NRE account through which you can send the funds, and the same on selling, the funds can be repatriated through an NRO account into the respective country.
Any more questions?
Yeah. NRE is non-residential external, and NRO is non-residential ordinary. These are banking terms which banks typically use to manage foreign accounts. And any Indian bank provides this facility. And should you wish to open an account, we can get you in touch with the respective banking officials who would assist you to open these accounts.
So for receiving the funds, I think you need an NRE, and for transferring the funds, you need an NRO.
Yeah.
And you are already facilitating that. Okay. Surely you would only be able to sell to an NRI or OCI. No, I don't think that's. You can sell it to anyone.
So Indian national NRIs and OCIs are the ones who are eligible to purchase any property in India, and so at Aga Hall. So yes, you will have to sell it to an Indian national or an NRI or an OCI.
If I want to pay in parts, of course, I think the Sawmill has those 18 installment scheme, and then there are those 6 installment schemes for NRIs. So for details, you can get in touch with Sawmill, and surely something can be worked out. That's not an issue, paying in parts. Is it easier to invest if one parent was Indian born?
I think Narm is from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the question is coming from the fact that if you're a foreigner, but if one of your parents is Indian, then it's easier for you to establish that you're an OCI. And yes, that makes it far easier for you to access and participate in the complex. But you still have to be, either you buy it in the name of the parent, or then you have to establish your own OCI, card to be able to get that. I think that's the way it works here. Yeah, you're right now that you'll have to do some paperwork. It's not that straightforward. I would also suggest you consult your tax advisor, because when you take an OCI status, there is a tax implication as to how you manage your personal income tax, right, across 2 jurisdictions. So the card is the easy part. Managing your wealth as a result of that is far more nuanced. It's not bad, it's not difficult, but let your tax advisor get involved. It's easier that way, both in Canada as well as in the UK. Both these countries have tax treaties with India, but somebody has to guide you as to how to do it properly. So, absolutely speak to somebody there, or if not, we can find you people who can advise you here as well.
Thank you everyone for your engagement. We really appreciate it, and for the project team for being so generous with your time.